Hello world, it's your boy Cuba. It's been a minute since I've recorded anything, since I've streamed anything, since I've seen you guys at all. And I kept saying like, oh, I'm gonna be back. This isn't permanent. We're just ba 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 boom ba bing ba bing ba bam. And really, it was a lot of just dodging around and waiting for myself to get back in the zone for YouTube. But today, I'm just going to kind of lay it out instead, and I'm going to say where I've been, why I haven't been really making Pokemon content in a while, why I didn't do anything for Sword and Shield, despite having all of the equipment, all of the means to do so, having played the entire games through on my own, at my house, in my room. The only thing I didn't do is hit record and talk into a mic and look into that camera. I could have easily done it. But I just didn't, and I kind of want to talk about why I haven't enjoyed really making Pokemon content as much in recent times. And yeah, I have a list here. I'm gonna go by the list because right now I am getting messy because I'm not looking at the list. So pretty much, back in 2017, I was having a pretty rough time. I'm gonna give you a little life story, a quick recap. Back in 2017, I was having a pretty rough time in life. It was one of my worst years ever. Probably, I would say my worst year ever in terms of mental health. I had a job that was getting very, very sour, but I was also doing YouTube at the time, and YouTube started going pretty alright, and I had money saved up. And I asked my parents, I was like, hey, this job is really just beating me down. It wasn't good for my mental health at all at that point. It was good for a while. Worked there for 3 years, really enjoyed it, enjoyed most of my coworkers. But then, I don't know, man, there was like an increased overall stress level of everybody at work. And it wasn't good. It clashed in bad ways and just events happened, yada yada. So, I was just doing YouTube. And I was going hard at YouTube. And I quit my job, and I just did YouTube almost full-time, basically. I was going to school, and then school got pretty rough for me, too, because I was trying really hard in all my classes, but I was still not doing too good. I was still getting pretty bad grades, just because my mental health at the time was dragging me. It was really just dragging me in all departments of life. So I ended up dropping out of school too. So at this point, all I'm doing is YouTube. And that's when YouTube started actually going somewhere for me. A lot of great people came in and were donating, and I was able to pay the little bit of bills I had off of YouTube. And it was an experience I'm extremely grateful for, and I wouldn't trade the world for, or I wouldn't give that up for the world, basically, like the experience I had. But, pretty much, moving forward, as my channel grew, this is where the list finally comes in. As my channel grew, I started getting really stressed out about, creating a safe space for people, because my whole channel, the basis of it was, this is a Cubo Force. Everybody's welcome. We're just trying to have a good time. You're a friend here. You're welcome as long as you could follow our rules. But, however, in such a desperate attempt to keep my channel a safe space for people, I got very iron fist with my chat rules, and it got to the point where a lot of people would, I don't know if they were trolls or what, but they would play around with it, They would just, I'd say, oh, hey, please don't do that, and then they'd be like, oh, but, the rules say this, and technically. And it was just getting to a point where, it was really stressful trying to enforce chat rules, something that I took way more serious than a lot of people I came to realize. And I was like, I don't really know, how to take this less serious. Was kind of like, I didn't, at the time, I was like, I don't know how to take this less serious, I feel like this is important to keep this space clear, because a few times when incidents did happen in the chat, it's like the whole chat, it starts freaking out, and then I think maybe it was on me at that point to keep it cool, and I didn't. And maybe that's what it was. But, overall, I got really stressed out about keeping these safe spaces. And, it was very stressful. Even though I love streaming, I love talking to the chat, most streams went fine. Some streams, the chat, there would just be so much of whatever. And I feel like it became almost a... Like, I'm sure people would joke about it, and they just wouldn't say it to my face to be polite. But, you know, I literally said, hey, chat rules below so much that it was like broken record. And, it just really, I think that might have started the beginning of the taking away from the enjoyment of the Pokemon content. Was it was growing at such a level, and I had to be so, like, you know, on top of the chat, because I didn't have a ton of mods, and even when I did have mods, some things would slip past, or they would crack down too hard, because I knew I cracked down pretty hard, and it didn't work that well. It worked, you know, I love my mods, I love my community, but personally, for me, it wasn't working all that well. It was starting to diminish how much I was enjoying what I was doing, because I'm like, damn, dude, this is just, I'm trying to keep up with all of this, and I don't know how to, you know? But basically, through all of that, I just started getting burnt out. You know, I'd been doing Pokemon content on YouTube since 2012 on and off, and, you know, I came back and finally was actually getting somewhere with the Pokemon content. And it was kind of just like, you know, I was finally at the level where I was proud enough of the content, where I was like, yeah, this is the quality where, you know, I'm proud, like, you know, I feel deserving of this, in a sense. But even though I felt deserving of it, it still, like, came to a level of, where was I going? I just lost my train of thought. Even though I felt deserving of it, it just came to a point where I had been doing this for so long, and, you know, there was only so much more I could do. I had done almost all gens. ROM hacks weren't too intriguing to me, because there's only a few that were actually completable and playable, and I did one of them, Uranium. Actually really freaking enjoyed Uranium. That was one of my favorite series that I've done, in recent times at least. That might be, like, that might be my last favorite series, if that makes sense. Like, a series, the most recent series, I don't think I've done a series since then that topped it in terms of, like, how much I enjoyed playing it. Because it was so new, it was so fresh. And, you know, maybe I'll come back and do some more. Like, maybe I'll do Ethereal or whatever that one is. That's a game RPG engine instead of a Pokemon engine ROM hack. But, eventually, I just got burnt out, and keep in mind, I was also doing YouTube as a job, so there is a strong feeling of I need to make these videos and I need to stream instead of I want to do this. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed talking to the chat. I enjoyed what I did, but it came to a point where I was just doing it so often. I had this schedule where it wasn't like, you know... And I think I could maybe now readjust my mindset to make a schedule like that work, because I have seen the results. I've seen how hard it is not having a job at all and stuff like that, getting older. And it's like, you know what? That would be a pretty sweet job, even if I had to, like, clock in, clock out. You know, I could probably do better at it now, but I'm not trying to test that waters yet, and I don't know if I ever will test that waters. But it was just getting to the point of, like, man, you know, I'm on this schedule every day at this time. I got to stream. People were, like, telling me, like, oh, bro, it's just a stream. You could do it at a different time. And I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get it. I take it serious, you know. I treat it like a job. And it was just getting to the point where it's like, man, it does feel like a job, you know. This used to be my hobby, and now it's like, oh, got to go to work. And some days I don't want to go to work, but I'm still going to work. You know, it's just part of going to work. And I was like, man, is that really the energy I should be bringing to a content creation path, or should I just wait until the energy's right? So it was a lot of, like, there was just building conflicts in my mind as I went on, and I ended up just kind of lying to myself in certain ways and saying, like, because I got locked into, you can only do Pokemon content now, because that's what people view, and that's going to keep your channel doing well. If you randomly do something else, it's not going to get the clicks, it's not going to get the views, YouTube's not going to like that, they're going to start pushing your channel down instead of up, as they have been. So I was locked into this mindset of, okay, my channel will only ever succeed now off of Pokemon content. So what am I to do? You know, just wait until I'm ready to play Pokemon? Alright, I guess. And I just, I was kind of lying to myself in the sense of, like, you know, when I would make this content, I'd be like, man, you know what? It's not that bad. At least I get to play some games. And, you know, I would just lie to myself to try to justify it more. And, like, I was being trying to make myself overly happy about it in my own mind. I'd be like, man, this is cool, you know, I get to do what I've always wanted to do. I'm playing Pokemon on YouTube. Oh, well, guess we're going back to 5th gen. Guess we're going back to this gen, because I've done them all. And, truthfully, I was getting burnt out, as I said. But I just kept lying to myself to keep, like, oh, keep doing it, man. You're doing good. You know, you're going to be really happy if this pays off. Yada, yada, yada. And, you know, I'm very appreciative of what I've gotten to do, and I loved doing it. I wasn't all like, oh man, I'm just doing this because I feel the need to do it. That wasn't all of it. There was just enough of that I wasn't acknowledging at all at the time. I was just completely telling myself, like, oh yeah, man, you've done it. You've made it. You're just on your way up. And I had been aware that there were certain things that I wasn't enjoying, that I wasn't happy with necessarily. But I just kept going because of, I was telling myself, you know, oh, look at, you're so lucky, dude. You got this chance that not a lot of people get, which is true. I was lucky to get the chance that not a lot of people get, but it would have been healthier if I would have acknowledged the things about that I wasn't enjoying, instead of just like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna just push through it, man. It's fine. We're doing great. Because look where it ended me. I got burnt out. I stopped making content at all. And the reason I haven't really come back is because, you know, I feel I have this thing in my mind. Like, okay, if I ever return to my channel, it has to be with Pokemon. You can't return with anything else. I did Minecraft that the last time, and it didn't last, but I was like, you have to do Pokemon. You can't just do something else because the algorithm doesn't like that. Your channel, your audience isn't going to necessarily click on that more likely. So you have to do Pokemon. And I was like, ugh, you know? Because the energy just wasn't there. Anytime I'd think of sitting down and recording a Pokemon video, it would just either go, like, if I recorded a video, my commentary would be super off because I'm trying to commentate it like I used to. And I'm like, man, you know, this Cubowak character isn't really, you know, it's not a full character, but, you know, like, the Cubowak part of my personality, I'm not versed in this anymore. I haven't done this for so long, and, you know, that was a different time. That's when you were watching YouTubers who were more family-friendly. You wanted to be a big family-friendly YouTuber, but, like, that's not where my energy is at anymore. I don't want to be this, like, family name. I just want to be myself and let whoever enjoys the content I make, whether it be YouTube, whether it be music, I just want to let them enjoy it, you know? Whoever it is, whoever the audience is, whoever at all. I just want to make it and let them enjoy it. And be myself while doing so. And, you know, maybe I could be a light in that person's life. I don't have to be this family-friendly dude. Because, truthfully, I get along way better with people my age and people older than me than people younger than me for the most part. You know, there's a lot of young people I've met through YouTube that I get along with great. I love knowing them. I love having gotten to know them as friends, you know. It's awesome, the people I've met. But in general, in average, in real life, I'm more likely to meet somebody my age or older and have a conversation that's more fitting to the things I like to talk about, more where my head's at, because I'm more on a mindset of, like, I think more deeply than just like, oh yeah, video games and, you know, things like this. When I was younger, I was definitely all about video games and whatever was fun, but these days I got a lot of philosophy talk and stuff like that, so most of my friends, we don't really, you know, we'll talk about games here and there because we all enjoy them still, but the majority of our conversation is like, oh yeah, we're talking about philosophy, we're talking about human nature, we're talking about politics, you know, we're talking about something with a little more depth. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is, I used to make family-friendly content because I myself hadn't found my full depth yet. And that was kind of very, very fully substance to me, was being that like, oh, whoa, look at that, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a blast. But these days, it's just, I've grown out of that. I've grown out of that, like, oh, here we go, guys, we're going on another journey. I still would love to start making content again. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I've definitely grown out of the full, like, oh, we're fully clean cut, family-friendly content. I want you guys to get to know me a little bit better when I start streaming more and if I make a series. I want to talk more about me as an adult, as a 23-year-old adult, rather than just like, oh, hey, guys, what's up, friends and families? We're here for another great PG time. I want to get more in-depth, talk about serious stuff sometimes. I want to tell you guys some stuff about myself that I wouldn't go telling a 13-year-old if I was just like, if a 13-year-old, I was at the skate park. That's a great example. I meet plenty of children at the skate park that are on scooters. I'm one of the only older people on a scooter. So they come up to me because they usually feel like these older skaters aren't paying a mind, that they're in their way. The skaters typically will talk smack about the scooter kids. So when they see an older person on a scooter, they're like, oh, it's one of us, but he's older. So these people, like, and I don't get messed with by skaters at the skate park because I got skate park etiquette, So when these kids come up to me, it's because, I got something in common with them, and, they feel a little bit more accepted by me than the other general population, but they also see me as a part of this, in their young minds, maybe a part of this elite of the skate park, because we're going a little bit faster, doing bigger tricks. Most of us have generally been doing it for a while longer, but I'm not going to tell those kids the thing, I would talk to those kids more like I would talk to my YouTube audience in a video, because obviously I don't know where their parents are. I don't know how they've been raised. I don't know anything about this kid. I'm not going to come out the gates like, oh yeah, blah, 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 talking about more mature subjects, I don't know where their mind's at. So that's kind of the thing I'm saying with YouTube. I want to be able to talk about the things I wouldn't necessarily talk to about with 13-year-olds, because that was my old content style, except of specific people I know I would talk more in depth. But I just want to be able to talk about more and not be as like PG, like, oh, can't talk about that here. If we're thinking about something, let's talk about it. Still avoiding politics, because that's going to get very heated on YouTube. So I don't want to talk about like, oh, I can't believe this political figure or that political figure did this or that. I don't want to get into that. Not on YouTube. Certain people on YouTube, if you're not fired up politically, like if you don't get charged up politically, I'd be down to chat about some stuff in private messages, but I don't want it on YouTube. And I don't like if you start saying some stuff and like there's just many, it's a fine line, and if the fine line is crossed, I'm just going to completely shut it down. Not necessarily in a mean way. I might just stop replying, kind of thing. It's just I only like when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm very picky with the conversations I have, not based on viewpoint, but based on rationale and respect. Respect more than anything. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, basically, let's talk about what's coming next on this. Oh man, this got so long. I didn't even know I was recording that long. Darn it. Basically, in the words of Shady Penguin, I have conceded. Shady Penguin, his video recently talking about his next moves on his YouTube journey and just his life journey really inspired this video. So Shady basically said, I have conceded, meaning he's conceded to the algorithm and I am following in his lead. Whereas he has accepted that his channel has peaked in its current form, and instead of just leaving his channel as is, which is what I thought he was planning on doing, he's just gonna upload what he wants. So he's doing a card game right now. I've been clicking on the videos just to show support, but, he's got other things in the works now. He's got bigger, better things that he's moving towards. And, it really did inspire me. Another big part about what makes me not want to come back to the Pokemon side of things. Maybe I will every now and then, but that's not going to be the main thing. The community, the people in the community, I'd love to still have you guys around. I'd love to still talk with you guys. I should start jumping in streams more, I know. Pertaining to the friends I knew personally back when I did make content that I haven't spoken to nearly as much lately. But, you know, I'd still love to talk with the community, but making Pokemon content, it just feels kind of different to me now. Based on everything that happened last year in 2019 with Nappy. I'm not directly impacted by that. I'm not directly related to that. I'm not going to go into the direct details of that. I'm going to share how this experience affected, or how these events affected me personally. I was a big fan of that entire group of content creators. Shady being my favorite. Shady has been my favorite forever. Love you, Shady. Thank you for being such a great dude for all of us here on this platform. I'm sorry I'm fanboying. But Shady was my favorite, and then the rest of that group, back when I was in high school and stuff, I would just watch a lot of them. I watched a lot of Mo. I watched a lot of Nappy. Watched a lot of Luke. Who else? You know, I would watch all the collaborative projects. Whatever, you know? That was a big part of me going through high school, and even after high school. I would watch those videos on a daily basis. I'd be keeping up with the schedule. I love that crap. That was such a important time to me, and I'm always going to hold on to that. A lot of seeing that content also got me more into making the content, gave me more inspiration. The first person to get me into making Pokemon content was Marilyn from a single Nuzlocke I saw. But as I did that Nuzlocke is when I found Shady, and then I started finding everybody else. And I really saw all of them throughout most of the group's time. And it got me more and more deep into the community, communicating with the smaller creators, whatever, you know? And it was a really fun time. They were my introduction into the Pokemon community at whole, rather than just Marilyn, one dude making videos when I wasn't even aware that there was a community around this stuff. And that was what I watched. That, when I made videos the most, the stuff I would watch would be definitely Shady, Nappy, Mo, group projects between them. That was the main thing. All of that went away, and it didn't go away peacefully. If it would have just been like, oh, we've all grown up, we're going our separate ways to do this and that over time, you know, I would still have no ill will towards Pokemon content coming, like if I made it. I'm not talking about anybody else's, but I would still have no ill will towards making Pokemon content myself, because, you know, it wouldn't be like, oh yeah, all of this craziness happened surrounding all of my favorite creators from getting me into this scene. And that's just, like, kind of vanished now, besides a select few. You know? And through all of that, it just feels personally, you know, it all falls down. That was a note I wrote, and I forgot to say it. It all falls down. Everything just came crashing down at once. Even Shady said, you know, when all of this happened, it made him not want to make Pokemon content anymore. It made it hard to do it, because he associated it with his friend group. And me, in a way, I associated it with the group that I grew up watching, you know? So, through all that, it was just like, I had this feeling in my mind after the Nappy thing initially happened and he disappeared. It was like, do I or do I not create content right now? Because on one hand, I feel like the Cubo Force, because I was in a hiatus of sorts at the time. I was like, on one hand, I feel like the community would appreciate it if I came back in this dark time and was like, you know, a brighter light for them. And it would be dope if a lot of my fellow friends, who I think would be good bright lights right now, could do that, and maybe we could grow and create a brighter future for this community a little bit, you know? And then I would be like, but do I or do I not do that? Because in a way, that's rising from the ashes of something terrible, you know? Something that I don't know if I want to rise from the ashes of. I don't know if I want to profit off of a surge of people looking for something to watch. I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel okay with that, you know? I don't know if that's right. And it was just a really big mental dilemma at the beginning, at the initial reaction to that. And now it just kind of, you know, it kind of feels like I can't escape it. You know, even if I were to come back and try making content, I'm thinking about it. Like, man, You know, I feel like this is such a. I feel like I'm in a desolate in a ghost town almost. Like this place used to be bustling with happy life, and now we're just. Man, you know, there's a few of us here. It's like crickets around, you know. It just, in my own mind. I know that's not how it actually is. That's just how it feels now. Because all the people that I was watching, you know, I don't really have much of that to watch anymore. I gotta watch other creators, which are also really good, but it doesn't have that vibe, you know. It's like, man, this is like a new era. This feels ahead of my time almost. And I love those guys. I've talked to a lot of the future, like Vinny and Asteroid, the future of this community. Great dudes. I freaking love those dudes. I'm happy they are the future of this community. And I want to start watching their content more, truthfully. But it still doesn't excuse that the thing that I was, like, you know, for the majority of me making Pokemon content, I was watching all these people that have now vanished or, like, you know, they don't have that group vibe going on anymore. And there's all these things that have come out and it's just like, man. You know, it just makes me feel weird about that time. The time I enjoyed making content the most. The core of my enjoyment for Pokemon, creating Pokemon content. So it's just been weird. It's a weird mental thing. Maybe it's misguided, but that's just how I feel based on all of that, being a longtime fan. If anybody can relate to that, let me know. Let me know your own feelings down in the comments. I think it's been long enough now that we could kind of talk about how we feel, because, you know, we also went through things, you know, but without a doubt, most condolences out of all to the most direct victims impacted by said events. And yes, let's move on. So, moving forward on this channel and my Twitch channel, which if you've seen it recently is now called Cuboac aka Codex 13, which in 3 months will be changed again to just Codex 13. We are going to continue making content whenever I feel like it. I'm not going to have a schedule. I said that last time. I'm sticking to that. We're not going to have a schedule. We're in quarantine. We got time. I've been wanting to stream. Just didn't know how to go about it. This is how I'm going about it. We're going to just stream when we want, and we're not going to be streaming Pokemon unless I get a crazy itch. Like, oh man, I'm really trying to play Pokemon right now. I'm really trying to start this series. I got graphics for it. Maybe I won't even use graphics no more. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just be like, screw it. It's too much work. Too professional. I'm just trying to have fun. Just trying to chill, you know? But we're just gonna do what we want. I'm gonna stream RuneScape. Nobody's gonna watch me play RuneScape. That's gonna be a chat-focused stream. I'm just trying to talk to you guys. I don't care about you guys watching me play RuneScape, doing boring stuff, training archaeology, a really boring to watch new skill, but I love RuneScape grinding. It's oddly peaceful and serene. But I'm gonna be doing it so you guys can hop in and chat and we can talk. Have a good time. You guys can tell me good games that I might like and I'll play them on stream. Screw it. You know, just have a super good time, not take anything too serious, and just hang out with my buddies. Basically, hang out with my friends in the Cubo Force. That's basically how I feel about it now. That's where we're going on this channel. That is where I am aiming it. On Twitch, we're going to be streaming music stuff. I'm about to start learning how to make beats. I got a bunch of pretty noises. It's not going to be that bad. But I'm going to start learning how to make beats. I might stream the whole thing. Who knows? We're going to stream a lot of that because why not? I can sit right here, exactly where I'm sitting right now, mic exactly where it is right now, and just boom, talking in the chat. I'm making music, I'm learning stuff. People could tell me if they know anything about music. We're going to be doing that. Just more stuff so I can interact and get back in touch with you guys and just recreate a community, especially in these times, man. I am stressed out, and I could use an escape. An escape with great people to talk to, just like I used to have in 2017 when I was going through it, my dude. No schedule, already said that. But yeah, this is just me trying to give you guys more of myself, in a way. Not all of myself. I don't want to give you all of myself. If I gave the internet all of myself, there would be nothing special to save for myself or for my real life friends, you know. There's a lot about me you'll probably never know. But I do want to get just much more personal. I want to get much more, like, out of that family-friendly content zone. not gonna cuss much because I don't cuss in my own house much because my parents are usually here. But I'm just gonna, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna be super worried about anything. I'm not gonna be super worried about keeping the chat a safe place for everybody to feel like, oh man, nobody could say anything mean to me here. Because even though I would love if the world was like that, a sad truth, which I have had to accept, and I couldn't accept back when I was doing it before, is trolls are always going to exist. Trolls will forever exist. People are going to forever be mean on the internet. Always. They will always come back on the internet with some rudeness to say to you, something to just be a jerk. You know, people are going to say bad stuff. If you're in my comment section, I can't guarantee you somebody's not going to show up and say bad things that I'm not going to say here. I almost just did give some examples, but that would be bad for YouTube. I can get taken down. But people are, you know, I can't guarantee my chat's going to be squeaky clean of other people. If something comes up, we'll handle it if it requires handling. And if it doesn't require handling, or if it only requires a request, like, hey, can you not do that, please? That's all we'll do. That's all we'll do. We're going to be way more lax. We're going to have a way greater time. I'm going to let you guys cuss in the chat as long as it's not a, like, FD, FD, BB, BB, S, boom, boom, bam. Like, as long as it's not rapid fire excessiveness, I don't care if it comes out every now and then very casually, like adults do, like humans do. I was doing it freshman year, 13 years old. I know you 13 years old, you 13-year-old out there, 13-year-olds out there are cussing. I don't care if you do it in my chat. I really don't, as long as you're not extreme with it. If you're extreme with it, I'm gonna time you out still. I might not even say anything about it. We're gonna use a lot of common sense here now, because before I was so, here it is, flat out, here it is. If you can't follow it, you have no excuses. I was like the police. That ain't how it is no more. I don't care if people got a problem with it. If people are like, this is so unprofessional, that's the point. I'm saying it like there's somebody arguing with me. Nobody's arguing with me. I'm just being silly. But you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah. I hope you guys are getting a vibe from what we're aiming towards now. I might even stream tonight. I am. I'm gonna stream tonight. I'm gonna upload this. And I'm gonna stream exactly. I'm gonna premiere this. I'm gonna premiere this tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the chat with you guys. That's what's going on. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Usually, I would say thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that like button down below. It does mean a lot to me, and I very much appreciate it. I forgot my outro. Wow. But as always, my name is Cubewack. I am signing out, and I will catch you guys next time. That is my outro usually. You know what I'm gonna say today? I'm gonna say, hey, my name is Cody. Nice to meet you. That was, no. Ugh, that was cringe. Can't end it with that. I can't. I know somebody's appreciating that I didn't end it with that right now. I'm gonna say it better. Hello. My name is Cubewack. My name is Codex13, musically. Find me on SoundCloud. I don't talk about that enough. I'm about to start cross-promoting like crazy. But more importantly, my name is Cody. Nice to meet you. Look at that. That was totally a Cubewack thing. Felt cheesy. Felt cheesy. Later!